In 1975, Kodak invented the digital camera. Then they froze. The company that created the future could not survive it. Kodak protected film while the market moved to digital, and the business that owned photography lost photography itself. Kodak thought they sold film, not memory. That was the structural error. They attached the company to the current format instead of the underlying need. So digital felt like a threat instead of an evolution. The technology changed, the mission did not. But once identity becomes attached to the old model, change starts looking like destruction. This is where most people freeze. But at Solver Studio, we go to our toolkit, the Solver 6. The tool for this problem is First Principles. First Principles strips away assumptions, traditions, and inherited logic. The question becomes, what actually matters here? That shift separates the core truth from the historical structure built around it. We stop defending the past, we rebuild from the foundation. First, discard the historical definition. Kodak was never fundamentally a film company. Film was only the technology of that moment. So remove everything tied to the current format. Stop defining the business by its existing output. This feels unstable at first. That usually means you are getting closer to the truth. Next, define the core principle. People were not buying film, they were buying memory preservation. That principle survives every technological shift. Once the principle becomes clear, new technology stops looking dangerous. It becomes a better delivery system for the same mission. Function matters more than form. Finally, rebuild around the principle. If the mission is preserving memories, digital becomes the logical future. You do not protect the old structure, you replace it. Resources, talent, strategy, everything aligns around the next version of the mission. Once the principle is clear, the path forward stops feeling emotional. It becomes structural. First Principles breaks the paralysis created by historical identity. Discard the old definition, define the core principle, rebuild around the truth. What looks like a threat is often the next evolution of the mission. The tool is First Principles, the outcome is clarity. This pattern appears constantly in careers. Someone defines themselves by a title, platform, or familiar workflow. Then the industry changes and panic begins. But the title was never the real value. The value was the underlying capability, problem-solving, leadership, communication, analysis. The tools evolve, the principle survives. Once identity shifts from the format to the function, adaptation becomes possible. Most paralysis comes from protecting an outdated definition. The issue is rarely intelligence, it is identification. Once the core principle becomes clear, the future becomes easier to navigate. Clarity is not optimism, it is structural understanding.